following material may contain sex, coarse language, and violence.
Of course! Of course!
What was that? I mean, that's kind of...
Next.
These are personal letters.
You don't have to read it out. You don't have to.
I wouldn't read mine out. Not till unless I read it first.
Alright, I'll read mine. Evan, Xander said that we would all forget the tournament and Tyrannon, so I've written it down to keep it fresh. We succeeded by default. Someone hid our universe from his gaze. It is important for you not to forget. The Wishmaster only needs 1 million souls total before he can bring in his kind. Judging from the length of time he's been here, population size and wish frequency, he must be close. I will be honest, I have no good ideas about how to solve this, and I'm hoping you do. You have yet to fail me in situations like this. I trust your judgment. Please continue to keep everyone together. I will be relying on you to keep everyone uncompromised and mentally sound while I am gone. Please keep safe, Drake. P.S. There is a young man in the city named Alexander Hamilton. He possesses an ingot of conceptual time. Protect him from Xander, Universe Man, if necessary.
What?
Yeah, that's Xander.
interesting.
Tocho, in the short time I have known you, you have proved yourself dependable. Skeptical as I am of your beliefs, I would ask you to keep my teammates safe while I am gone. They are not capable of making the hard decisions I know you are, nor of taking the kind of punishment you can. Regards, Drake.
Well, since...
I'll read mine afterwards, but I just still want to get through to...
Svetlana, I will be honest, you have presented a conundrum to me, and I think I would rather have kept Tyler, as he was the key to solving the problem with the Edomite kings across other timelines. However, this is not your fault. Do not feel guilty for living. You have a precious, one-time only chance in all the multiverse, as I am aware of it, to prove that you are capable of. Do not waste it thinking on what you should have been. That is not what it is. I spoke to Smar about working together going forward. He believes I am Psy-Man. Don't correct him too much if he brings it up. It doesn't really matter who he thinks I am. Try to keep him subtle on his acquisition of the World Pearls. And don't bully his bodyguard too much. Admittedly, the sight of you wearing River's husk was repulsive, and I hope you deeply think before doing something similar again. Well, I hope you are well. I also hope that you think more, as I am, about the weight of your actions and words. Despite having what seems to be a noble heart and good intentions, you have made some monstrous suggestions. Don't be too reckless.
She's made some monstrous suggestions.
I had a friend whose name was Xander Magruder. He spoke like you, acted like you, looked like you, and had the same power as you do. But despite that, you are not him. It is hard to recollect this in my mind most of the time, and I apologise that I trend towards acting like you are the same. It is often a comforting thought for me to act as if the relationship he and I shared would be the same as the one you and I would. This is not the case. You are very different from the man I loved as a brother, and I must be more aware of that. I am sorry. Despite that, I do not wish to see you take the same path as him. The man I knew was a bitter, broken one that lost everything he held dear and then his own mind. During the small windows of sanity, between bouts of personality disorders that often cost dozens or hundreds of lives, he would beg me to kill him. I refused 37 times. At first, incidents happened rarely and were containable. Only once, perhaps twice a month. I could mostly keep them in check myself. Over time, they increased infrequently, once weeks, then once a day, almost constantly, one radical personality to the next in short order. Over the course of a year, it became impossible to contain. I remember the names of each of the more than 10,000 victims. I could list them all for you if you wanted. I imagine you do not. Eventually, I did what he wanted me to. It was not an easy thing. You seemed very upset at the very idea of it when it was brought up. But there was no...
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
But really there was no alternatives, and it was not as easy a thing for me to do as you seem to believe. I hope you deeply think about what it is you want, Xander. There are fields available to you if your goal is simple: to make a difference in the world or provide for your family. This path ultimately ends in your death. You have seen other worlds just as I have, and you know the fate of Xander Magruder as well as I do. My computer is open to you if you need information. The database are completed in case you need them. However, I would ask that you do not access information you do not need. There are secrets I am keeping from you for good reason. There are things that none of you need to know for the foreseeable future. I hope this letter finds you in a better state than when I last saw you. Stay sane, Drake.
He's a lot more eloquent in written word.
Yes.
Helps when you're not high on cleaning products from your 60 hours of work.
So, given how Thomas seems to have eloquently put it, I'm going to phrase it again to everybody. Is this a breakup? Is this a stand down? He's asked us not to keep going, and he's given us a reason to keep going. The Wishmaster being close. Drugs are still on the street. Even if we're not chemists and we can't diagnose the things, we can still stop sales.
I think for my sanity I need to, and that's the biggest thing for me is as I use my powers more and more often, I start losing a part of myself if I regularly lose them, and lately I've been using them a lot. And if for this 2-3 days we've been away, if I've used a power or all the powers, I don't know. I've been trying to keep track of how long I've been staying in form. I don't know. What if I've been in Mortal Kombat for the whole time? 2 days. And then I turn into Mortal Kombat again. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen what happened with Duke Nukem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so bad now. But at one stage I was using Duke Nukem non-stop almost. And then the personality started coming back over.
It was like a blade.
So in my everyday life I was essentially Duke Nukem.
Oh dear.
So I think I need this 2 weeks. I need, for our safety, for everyone's safety, I need to go away and just...
I do have one question. What are you going away to do? You're leaving town for some time, right? So
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 little weeks you can leave.
I'm doing a job for my uncle.
That is not similar to your normal work.
Oh no! No.
Okay. It's just
No, it's definitely got nothing to do with mutancy. No.
okay. Okay, we accept that you have to leave and you're going to do something. I would just like to advise perhaps you take a leaf from Thomas's book and use this time for some introspection about how you want to go. What do you want to do with your life?
That's what I plan to do. I mean, after what's happened this past week or so. I mean, I'm ecstatic that River's back. But again, I'm so conflicted at this moment that I don't know how to be happy and sad and all that at once, because I was going to go anyway, but now I have something to come back to.
Well, you were worried about personalities and things conflicting. I was just suggesting, if you can decide what kind of work you want to do. If you want to do whatever you're doing with your uncle, make that your life's goal. If you want to keep working where you work...
I don't think I could do the thing for my uncle for a very long period.
I don't know what that is, but I'm just saying...
I don't know what they're doing, but...
We should not pry.
No, I don't intend to pry into that. It's just, he's concerned about his personality switching and all of these
I have mentioned who my uncle is, haven't I?
Yes, I believe so, but I don't really know what he does. Like, you could work on computers for him?
My uncle's a colonel in the Space Force.
They have computers.
Yeah, and...
Space Force.
The Navy.
The Navy. Sorry, I've been watching this new program, and
that sounds like a you problem.
it's a terrible program.
Well, then stop.
Yeah, I did. One episode.
And while you're at it, don't watch 2011's The Thing.
Oh, well,
No.
anyway.
Just don't do that.
Don't do that to yourself.
Watch the 82 one.
When
And The Blob, too. Gotta watch that.
when I was in Washington for the debriefings, I made some suggestions that they might try to ultimately to make it safer for the American public, because at the moment the UN and other countries are leaning on America to give them some of the technology. But the problem with that is, once I've got the technology, how can you stop them from using it? And I may have come up with a couple of ideas.
I just meant it in terms of perhaps you want to focus on focus on an aspect of your life that you want to work on and develop, and that for you to be your norm, what you're working towards, so you can have a direction in your life as opposed to flitting back and forth between all of these different roles and trying to please everybody.
Well, that's it. That's why I've been doing the video games. I thoroughly enjoy coding and making the stuff and developing games.
So, I mean, you just entered a military contract, so it would be a choice between responsibility and technology that might hurt somebody, or art. Just choose a direction to focus on.
I'll see what comes of this first.
Okay.
It is somewhat pleasing to me that a man who seems to know so much has not used my real name. I think I will spend this time doing what he has asked of me. I will keep you all safe. I will see you when I am called back. I hope we are still together.
I mean,
Well, you are required to be, because no one's here is allowed to make a character that's not part of the team. What the fuck would be wrong with your head?
I want to join Megaton's team.
Well, you fucking can't.
I mean, Devin, if you want to keep investigating things and...
I'll keep my eyes open, but I intend to keep trying to help people,
By all
street
means.
patrol.
But I too think I need some time to reflect.
I will stop my dramatic exit to maybe read the newspaper.
Yes, do that, and then we'll skip our time.
Weather still violently disorganized. Randall Randallson.
You got both pages there?
Yes.
Good.
The after effects of global storm Soviet continue, with seasonal weather being mixed in with hot days. The inability of forecasters to predict the weather is frustrating people everywhere. The cause of this discomfort? Soviet. The devil who destroyed the world. The death toll continues to climb in Soviet-related fatalities, nearing 2 million. But isn't this really just another supervillain menacing the world? Surely, as the weather settles down, we will get back to normal.
Hero reveals true self. It has a picture of the new black suit Aegis of scene of what was an Orphan age. Everyone remembers when the Super Squad arrived on the scene. Their violent crime wave was a stark contrast to the peace the city was enjoying before. Since then, members have disappeared and new criminals have joined to ramp up the damage they can do. One founding member of the group, ironically called Aegis, has reappeared recently to engage in a gang war with Black Knight. The newly suited Aegis wrecked a city back before engaging in single combat with rumored Xander Magruder love interest Jania Frost, reportedly nearly killing her, before the Power Corps were able to subdue him. Proof of their collusion lies in his subsequent apparent release, inciting on the city streets, murdering muggers, and freeing people by destroying their upturned private motor vehicles.
No. I'll take the next two because they're short. Video games cause violence by Ethan Williams. With the failure of the investigation into video game crime, Senator Hillary Clinton has launched another $50 billion investigation intending to prove video games can be blamed for the systemic societal malhandling of problems. And we have Atlanteans remain intransigent. Talks of over a new co-cooperation treaty between the Atlanteans in exile and the United States have stalled, apparently over the matter of a single individual who has been granted asylum. The people are asked to write submissions demanding the asylum be revoked. Video game tournament.
You have one as well, or you're up to, funnily enough, video game tournament.
Video game tournament. E. Morgan. I wonder who that is.
Kevin Smith. Wait, who the fuck do you think it is?
Well, let's just call it Elspeth M.
Oh, yeah. Positions are still available for the Thunderdome at a tournament for players of video games organised by Lyle Llewell. Come on, nerds, get an A into G. Fabulous prizes await those who win. Of course, it has been suggested by some media elements that this tournament will cause right-wing white male violence. Despite this recent entrants include the top tier of international gamers, with one confirmed entrant travelling from overseas to participate. That's dedication. We hope to get an interview with him at a later date.
Please, anyone else?
Oh, crap. Ethan Williams. Of course, the crap rolled out during a superstorm, and of course the resulting damage has cost the taxpayer $75,000. Spokesperson for the Mutant Reformation League said, "Gee, that's too bad." One Police Plaza has announced a special training course for the crap to introduce new tactics and equipment to make them more effective, or at all effective. I'll do the next one as well. China virus causing concern. Bandis Thricken? What a name. The recent virus targeting Asians spreading in the backwards nation of Asia is causing concern, according to military doctors. Anyone capable of making a virus like this might be capable of creating a virus which might ravage real people. Described as a viral form of Soviet. If the mastermind behind the China virus were to turn their attentions to America, it could be Soviet times 1,000. When asked if this was a credible threat, this reporter was told that people would behave as though it was and hoard toilet paper.
Oh yay. DMV thought molests children. Lana Spelt, my favourite reporter. DMV snack Miranda Lewis was the only female agent sent to probe children at a local high school yesterday, where she was sealed in a cubicle alone with young men who can tell what the sex-crazed slattern was up to. Is the public being served by having a fuck-crazy whore turning our children into mutant fetishists? When questioned, several students claimed to have difficulty with her overt sexual attractiveness and were embarrassed at not being able to conceal it from her. One student even claimed to have splattered that uniform of hers. Quite bugs. Surely, now it is time to remove this mutant vixen, and it's got an image of the thought taken by hidden camera inside DMV's facility just prior to our investigative journalism being denied First Amendment rights.
Chief Break Everything breaks everything. Preston Jefferson. Indian, terrorist, and mutant terrorist in one. Chief Break Everything has recently been on a crime wave, damaging construction sites and robbing local stores. His affiliation with the Cold Rock's Power Corps is to blame for this rampage. Citizens are instructed to examine all Native Americans to determine if they could be this mutant criminal. I'll do the next one too, because that one was pretty short. Local gym teacher a menace. Disgraced mutant Olympic cheats have to make a living somehow after being tossed out of their professions. Although many citizens would rather have them simply die and free resources up for the rest of society, it is, however, right that they should be put around our children. It has come to light that one of the few remaining teachers at Richard Milhouse Nixon High School is former silver medalist Jay Eaton. While on the surface she might appear to be a dedicated gym rat and fall down drunk, her crimes remain hidden from the public. Following being ousted from competitive sprints and powerlifting due to her mutant gene cheating, she landed a job at Texas A&M in their physical program, only to be dismissed within the year for undisclosed reasons. What could those be? The only conclusion is student molestation.
It must be.
Even now, she has been spotted enticing students with beer and chocolate. Fire this mutant now. Some parents may possibly demand.
Some parents may possibly.
You want one, Steve?
You really want me to read it? See?
Well, back to Brendan, is it?
Yes.
New owner for Casino of Mystery. The Ultralux in Las Vegas has a new owner, known only as John Doe, following the mysterious boating accident death of former owner Brendan Collins, mysterious as his boat was parked on its trailer in his private garage. The new owner remains entirely secret, not even the Nevada state governor claims to know, which is itself unusual, that he would just volunteer that information, unasked, and out of nowhere. He called us.
What?
So the next one. Beware this mutant!
Yeah.
Soviet pictured here. Soviet, destroyer of food, slayer of millions. Reward for information. Sternbach media. Freak show? Oh, right. That's the next. Never mind.
Freak Show. California body horror cavalcade, the Freak Show, have made moves into Nevada. For those who do not know, the Freak Show is a gang of freaks who I'm guessing that's share three common interests: drink, drugs, and replacing parts of their bodies with hideous mechanical cybernetics.
Amen.
All of this is facilitated by mad scientists referred to as meat doctors or mechanics. While their cybernetics aren't inherently illegal, the surgery which attaches them is, making the mechanics the real criminals in the body horror. It is, however, rumoured that the Freak Show commit many crimes to pay for the new augments, and now here they are. Citizens should call the police if threatened, as many freaks have sharp claws, heavy budgeons, and electrical shock systems implanted into them. More freaks shoe without a W, and not mutants.
You have no idea how much I was rocking backwards and forwards in my little chair over budgeons.
Budgeons.
Clapping my hand and giggling like a little infant.
I assume they're these budgies that are attached. I don't. And then there's got a picture: a group of proud freaks at a block party.
Mustant students reveal.
It's in the headlines. Mustants. You mustn't be a mutant.
By Anon. Following Mutant testing round 1, the following positive results have been recorded. Adis Abababab Jr., safe. Alvin Clay, Euclid. David Devicio, Euclid. Ignis Inflam, Euclid.
Inflame?
Inflame, sorry.
Or inflame?
Doesn't get fun.
Carlita Gonzalez, safe. Jennifer Jenkins, Keter. Ivan Ivanova, Euclid. Ivana Ivanova, Euclid. Zudkatla Zeit, Euclid. Alex Mercaday, Keter. Herschel Shrink Oli, safe. Susanna Smolov, safe/Euclid with a question mark. Wanda Zarkov, Euclid. Shikala Soundia, Euclid. And Percy Weasley, safe. These names were recovered from a notepad of names at the local school. The additional words, safe, Keter, Euclid, written beside each name are apparently internal classification terms used in the DMV. Safe being easy to contain or inoffensive, Euclid being potentially lethal, and Keter being absolutely fatal or difficult and impossible to control. These terms are printed on every registered mutant's optional armband. These ratings are obviously estimates based on mutant gene rampancy. It is clear these students should be detained by the DMV and registered as soon as possible.
Which has happened.
This is what they're doing!
Yeah.
Yeah, just...
Next!
The one directly over.
Tyrannodino gains 3 new military contracts. Bosco Picoltrain?
Peacoltrain.
Following a strange, probably mutant attack on a Gain Alpha Corporation demonstration and subsequent loss of all scientists and project materials, their contracts with the DoD and military branches have been terminated. But fear not, citizens. Beloved Tyrannodino Corporation has stepped in with the replacement projects.
Hostile takeover.
Charming CEO of Tyrannodino, Dwight Masterton, has this to say. We here at Tyrannodino feel the pain of our extra-corporate colleagues and are prepared to shoulder their burden by commencing additional projects to fill those needs to the government. Man of the year, everyone.
World's oldest mutant discovered by Tila de Avo. A mutant recently fronted a DMV office in Cold Rocks, Nevada, seeking employment with government's mutant forces. On investigation, it is revealed that this mutant, known as Tarias, was interred in a Nazi camp at a very young age and manifested... Oh, here's a good one. Mutant powers. Mutant powers! After the nuking of German military in place... Oh, here's another good... In place Mutants. Near the end of the war. If true, that would make this Tarias the oldest recorded mutant in the world. It has stark implications for the spread of this horrible disease. And here's a picture. Tarias in his activity attire. A sinister name for this combat armor of tyranny.
Red Banner cloaking technology takes a leap. B. Preston. A Red Banner Zeppelin recently conducted a mutant capturing raid in Texas. How did it get so far into America undetected? Military press corps have revealed that the most likely answer is their coalating tech must have recently been upgraded. If true, it will represent a massive leap forward, and we should all be very afraid and keep subscribing to the newspaper.
Red Devil is Russian evil. Albert Peterson. Recently, it has become evident that there are 2 Soviets. One, a busty young lady with unfortunate food and life-destroying habits, and a muscular little Russian immigrant who appeared around the same time. Some Russians emerged from the Ion Curtain. Both claimed the Soviet name and have confused people who can't see the difference in the uniform. Now one of them has donned a new cowl and pointed ears, and T-back thong unitard and goes by the name Red Devil. Or at least that is what we have been told to brand her as. At least we won't be confusing our icons of fear now.
Does it literally say that?
Yep.
Oh,
It literally says that.
that's better that way, I guess.
Mutant Murders Spike by Tom Jessup. Recently, the number of unsolved stabbing murders of mutants has risen. Baffling detectives. Well, detectives are all retards anyway. Some
This
murders,
is therefore false!
No.
There! Proven correct!
Some murders have happened right in front of people who look away, look back, and the mutant they were speaking to was dead, bleeding profusely. Fortunately, some of the victims have been saved and are now in critical care at the Huxtable Memorial Hospital Intensive Care Unit, and you don't have to be dead to enjoy it.
Does it actually say
No,
that?
it doesn't have to. The leading theory is that these murders are the work of a telekinetic mutant stabber who can stab with their mind at great range. Why would a mutant murder other mutants? Police remain helpless to understand.
Sometimes I make an accidental mistake and then I look at it and I'm like, can't wait to hear them say that.
Clearly Bonnie Bradford at work. Oh. Solaria captured at last. P. Busbett Smythe. Those of you who have heard of the girl next door and later Solaria from Texas will no doubt be surprised to find that she has been caught by police in Cold Rocks. When police conducted a raid on the Sloan, Lawson and Venmo Enterprises warehouse deep in Denton last month, they were surprised to find among the copious amounts of drugs and slaves the captive form of a young woman quickly identified to be the former supervigilante Solaria. Having apparently been taken captive by the criminal empire the police had just uncovered, the vigilante was taken into DMV custody. It has now been revealed that the wretched and slutty Solaria, who should be publicly flogged for her indecency, had struck a deal to work for the DMV rather than face Tora Harad. In this reporter's opinion, that slattern should be sent straight to prison and not allowed a cushy government job. Trouble will come of this. Those criminals gave her what she deserves.
Also cushy? Not quite. Horrifying, maybe?
You get free room and board. What more do you want? I'd take that job.
You get that at prison too.
Also, I'd get to hang out with Tom. We could discuss how things are wrong now.
Oh, I don't
He
care.
sounds like the perfect guy, to be honest. We can watch modern films like John Carpenter's The Thing.
An alien.
Ultra Girl cleared of alien conspiracy. L. Sternbach. Evidence has surfaced that Ultra Girl has not now or ever assisted alien enemies of mankind, and was in fact rescuing captured humans who had been taken by the Krell. It seems our old enemies are building up to another invasion, and heroes like Ultra Girl will be needed more than ever to defend us. Earth has never before been the target of so many threats at once, and it is reassuring to know that while Ultra Girl may not be under direct government control, she is still pulling for us, not against. The public are encouraged to get behind the beautiful and powerful hero and help her help all of us. Ultra Girl as seen at Surf Lifesaver fundraising as beautiful and amazing as ever. More pictures on page 8.
Yes? What?
Nothing.
No, go ahead. No. Next, Ken, read.
Sorry, I was looking for okay.
It wasn't like her dad wrote that.
No, it isn't. His
Game-
name is Maximilian Sternbach.
Gamer caught on camera by E-Chan. For some time, we have been trying to lock down the sheer number of forms the gamer can take, and finally we have a good image of one of them. And here he is in his scorpion.
Oh, nice. That's not a good image.
It is clear now that the gamer is causing violence, just as video games have proven to do
Oh my
so,
God.
for all you know. Leader of a gang of ninjas, seen striking across town. Ninjas! Sometimes chasing a sexy redhead with amazing legs. Why is the gamer a rapist?
I was watching his mouth just break and I was like, here it goes!
I pre-read that line, and I looked up, and he had the drill like straight vertical, and it's just like, oh no.
We pour mice to find out and tell you all. Truth be damned. Do you want me to read the last one too?
Yes, just go ahead.
Jania Frost revealed by Linderman. Recently former cheerleader and fun snack Jania Frost has been helping the citizens of the USA against mutant crime with capital letters. Her trim athletic physique getting noticeable more swole. Good news if you're into that, but what are the majority of us to do? Anyway, the reasons behind the government inaction concerning her release relates to a registration activity exemption. Like Captain Freedom, Jania is free to leap around and beat up the baddies for us. We will investigate further and follow up.
And with that, you will split up for 2 weeks. Gamer, we'll start with you because you're the least depressing of all of us. You're flown out to the Cold Rock's whole military base, and from there to a place somewhere in Washington, where you work with a bunch of computer nerds who, but they're better than most in the public. Got to admit that. And there you do computer stuff, but revolving around computer security and preventing people from being able, like dead man switches, that sort of thing, cut-offs, backdoor access, etc., etc., and have therefore increased the DCs of all military computer infrastructure by 5.
God damn it.
Except for you, because you know how it works.
No. Which is
Tacho, you go out into the desert, you smoke a bunch of peyote, you go in your vision quest things, it's a great time. You learn that the spirits are very unhappy with the way mankind is treating them, and that's what you're for, and you need to go out there and, like, you have to restore balance to the world because everything's sort of shifting towards darkness, and you got to push that back the other way. So you're on the right track, bro. We have confidence in you. Don't fuck up.
I slipped that underneath Soviet store before I leave.
You receive a sexual proposition from a large Indian man.
probably
He has a
take-
cute rabbit dog.
probably telling you to feed the rabbit, just not lettuce.
Soviet continues to work and prepare for the archaeologist convention, etc., and such forth. She then reads out her secret private letter, maybe, I don't know.
I'll read it out for the sake of the
You don't have to.
Frostheart. Frostheart, I leave you this to say I will be gone for some time. Fear not that I am taken against my wishes. I have left you my key. Please return it to Mario after you take Fluffles from my room. I must ask you to care for him in my stead, as he will not survive where I am going. Next to his provisions, I have left all my money. Take it as yours. May the spirits forgive you and us all.
Oh, 2 weeks later, you come back to your apartment.
Rabbit's called.
Yeah, sure, Drake. I'll take care of all your buddies. Bye, everybody!
She uses the money to buy a little motorbike and then crosses the border with it. Soviet continues to work at the place and prepare for the conventions and that. Bevan continues beating up people on the streets after dark and dodging ninjas.
And doing the tourism thing, because haven't been to Cold Rocks before, so exploring.
She goes to the Museum of Ruby Crystals in Burma, and there she learns about like when the Super Squad Power Corp group was there, and they knocked over this very ancient statue that dates back to the times when people believed in jinns and shit, and it broke apart. But it only broke apart because a guy showed up drunk to work and couldn't operate the load lifter to get it into the right place, so he just sort of left it in the middle of the floor. Had he not shown up drunk to work, that would never have happened. But it doesn't seem that significant because you haven't rolled for it. So 2 weeks later, I didn't say that. And just putting that in your head so it can be activated with memory later. 2 weeks later, you arrive back off the aircraft, and you're like,
Smog, the smell of note, 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 smog, the